the main thing this morning is everybody's looking at Bitcoin. After a couple of little sideways doji days, we're back to testing the low. As we talked about last night, in most of these exchanges, we hadn't quite tagged the levels or the zones that we were looking for, the support zones. So we're still looking for one more push lower. And this price action, this sideways price action, wasn't very bullish. In fact, it was bearish. As I said in my briefing, the good leading indicator that this was going to happen was the breakdown of this bearish pennant in Litecoin. So Litecoin US dollar, the bearish pennant that we talked about yesterday at this 61.8 level broke down. Now we're looking for the 786. So in Litecoin dollar, that's going to be 51.28. And this, now we're at new lows, which we've just done in the last hour. Now that we're at new lows in Litecoin, down we go. These lows will likely be resistance. I'm not feeling a false breakdown at the moment. It's all a bit kind of slow and grindy. When they have false breakdowns one way, it tends to be a little bit quick and everybody thinks, oh, quick, I've got to jump in. So this is pointing lower. This will likely mean that the bearish consolidation in it's bearish consolidation. In fact, we're just breaking lower here in BSV as we look. And this pattern in Bitcoin Cash ABC is likely to break down here. So if you want something to sell, there we go. I've drawn it slightly like this because I like to do the parallels, and then there we go. So almost a breakdown here in Bitcoin Cash ABC as well. Monero, quite a few have the same patterns. So this is Ethereum Classic hourly. The good news about this, and I know I say it a lot, but when you see these triangle or wedge patterns sideways, the move lower tends to be the final move before a reversal. So in all of them, we need to have a little faith. I think we're close to an important low. Now, here we go, Bitcoin. Sometimes, Bitcoin overcooks it. I've put all these projections from each of these corrections. So we're in the zone 2.618, 2.618, 786. There's lots to line up here. This one I haven't quite got. Let me see where that's the 2 there, isn't it? Remember, we could come all the way back down here and it wouldn't invalidate this bullish candle. So there's a lot of talk about the minor capitulation and what it means. It's basically when the hash rate and the rewards are so low for the miners that the small miners give up, get out, and what they do is they sell all their hoarded bitcoins. It's every other time it's happened, it's marked a bit of what they call in Bitcoin a generational low. So in fact, what we saw was in November, when we break down here, was it 2018? No, which one was it? This one. This breakdown here in November 2018 was when that happened before. Now, what's weird about it happening now is it normally happens after a halvening. So the rewards will halve, the small miners will get squeezed out, you'll see a important low, and then, literally bargain prices for Bitcoin, which are, for the rest of us, amazing opportunities. That's what we expect to happen. But markets learn. So, when we had the credit crunch in 2007, 2008, one of the first responses after that, the government did a number of things, the US government, but what they did is they started this QE, which has only ever been seen before in Japan. No central bank had ever done it in the Western world. Nobody knew what it would mean. And so initially when they did the first round of QE, it took a while for the markets to turn and realize what was going on and this liquidity, and it took a while for stocks to realize that suddenly there was all this money sloshing around, and they started to go up again. And then when they did the second round of QE, the market knew exactly what was coming and front run it a bit. And then then when they did the third round, the first time they hinted about it, the market took off, and by the time they announced QE3, the market topped out because it was already priced in. And so all the ECB, when the Europeans decided to do it, all the ECB had to do was hint that they were going to do it, and the market knew exactly what it meant and up stocks went. So that's, I think, what we may be seeing with the halving, because remember how Litecoin reacted so weirdly with the halving. We could be seeing that again. So this time the big players, the big miners, could be pushing out the little guys before the halving comes, and then they get all the rewards from that. So now, I've said this before, final waves are usually 5 waves. Usually. So this is 1, 2, 3. We're going to need to see this and then a retest. So whilst I think this is a great level, it's not quite. So this is the buy zone. We're still in it. And let's see what happens here. So that's my thoughts on the miners. And the talk about, the small miners capitulating. The only reason they say it's bearish for Bitcoin is because they think that the small miners sell all their hoarded Bitcoins to buy new equipment. So there we go.